Hey everyone, it's Kathy, and this is season 2 of Journey into Cybersecurity, and this is part of the bigger picture of the Triangle Net. And season 2 is all about new, fresh, unique perspectives. So we're putting a spin to how we're interviewing people, what kind of people we're interviewing, and things like that. And it's all about how to join the future cyber hero squad. Now, season 2 is also a little bit different because today's first guest, Antonio Chousa, is also he's also my co-host on all of our next episodes. So this is going to be a fun, interactive kind of a podcast. I'll do less talking. Antonio will kind of spice things up. So it's going to be really exciting. The reason why I hired Antonio as an intern at the Triangle Net is to take his mentorship to a whole new level. And, you know, the Triangle Net's mission, after all, is to connect people with opportunities to learn, work, and support others in cybersecurity. So we're talking the talk and we're walking the walk. You'd be amazed how much a mentor can actually learn from a mentee, by the way. Without further ado, Antonio, hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure and complete honor. So thank you for being here. So tell us a bit about you. What do you do?
I turned 22 in a few days. My name is Antonio, obviously, as Kathy said. I'm a student at the St. John's. I'm actually about to graduate this semester. I'm an intern for the Triangle Net, and I'm also going to start an internship on Monday, actually, for with Cyber which I'm definitely looking forward to. Thanks to Kathy for mentoring me and helping me along the way to get my position there. And I'm excited to get started.
Fantastic. So you kind of explained already where you are on your journey into cybersecurity. You're breaking into it through the internship avenue. Why did you choose to go into cybersecurity?
Well, this might sound like a little corny, but Kathy, like Made, just like she was kind of just like a second parent to me growing up. So I was kind of just like always around her, and she would always be on calls and talking to people and doing a whole bunch of things. And I definitely would consider myself a people's person. I like talking to people. I like helping people. I like stopping the bad guys. So I definitely, when I first went to college, it's not exactly what I went for. But then once I started to kind of do my own like little dive into it, it definitely kind of drew me in. So I decided to go for it.
Awesome. And so let's talk about role models because it sounds like Mireille was one of your role models. Who else are your role models and what did you or are you still learning from them?
I would definitely, this is like an obvious answer, but I would definitely say my parents. Um, Ever since I was just like a little kid, they always just like instilled like such a work ethic into me. Like
Mm-hmm.
right when I got to high school, like ninth grade, all right, you're getting a job this summer, next summer, and next summer, and next summer. I don't care what it is. You're not going to be home all day. You're getting a job. And obviously now that I'm a little older, I like look back and appreciate that because
Mm-hmm.
I guess the work ethic was instilled to me at a young age. It's definitely better than to try to motivate yourself at 21 or 22 when you haven't been for your entire life. So I'm definitely grateful for that. For my
Yeah,
parents, yeah, they're definitely an inspiration to me.
great. So you're close to graduating, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
So how has your perspective changed in the past 4 to 6 years now that you're kind of on the other side of that experience?
Perspective on like school or like the
Well,
workplace
on
or
on
just
a
like,
few things, right? I mean,
yeah.
you're kind of in different stages of your life, kind of, right? So you're finishing up one stage, but on the other hand, you've matured, you've grown up. So you've gone from high school to college.
Yeah.
You kind of dabbled already in internships. So what perspective has changed?
Well, I if I could go back like to my junior year of high school, maybe my senior year, I would have definitely tried a lot harder to get an internship earlier and maybe even potentially done that and like even taken like a year off of school just to like mainly get that, I guess, experience, because I feel like nowadays having a lot of experience is definitely absolutely helps you out so much when you
Yeah.
graduate and you're looking for your first real job. I think having that experience definitely kind of puts you up on the list when you're applying for jobs, because it's
Mhm.
kind of like, yeah, they're obviously going to train you and help you through the way, but it's not as maybe not as much of the baby steps kind of. Obviously, yes, there's still some here and there, but having that experience definitely helps a lot. And I would also say get an internship no matter what. I got my first one my junior year of college. It's really never too late, because again, it helps you get that job, but you can't kind of there's nothing like getting that experience before you actually have to get that first job. It's definitely makes me less nervous and definitely prepared me for now when I graduate and to get my first job, and definitely
Yeah.
has prepared me.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good lesson. How are you looking to the future?
I guess my main priority now is just finishing the semester and getting my first job. I would definitely say that's my top priority right now. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it like daunting? Is it scary? Like what is it like being on that cusp, about to
I would
open
just
another
say
door?
I would say it's more nerve-wracking than scary. I mean, I guess, like, at times it's scary, maybe a little when you have to, like, interview and stuff. It's just, like, all the nerves kinda
Yeah.
turns into being scared, but there's really nothing to be scared about. I get the nerves, but there's definitely nothing to be scared about.
Oh, well, that's good. That's really good. Let's talk a little bit about your learning experience, the educational process. So you went the full 4 years, cybersecurity education, um, and in the midst of that, you were witness of a pandemic. So, which is a huge disruptor for everybody, but I can only imagine how disruptive it must have been for you as a student. What other challenges do students currently face in cybersecurity?
Hmm. Well, one of the biggest things I've definitely faced, like, being in the regardless of, like, in the classroom or during the pandemic when we were all online, I would say is communicating with your professors, because, well, like,
Mhm.
obviously during the pandemic there wasn't really much opportunity to have like face to face. It was more like over email, and then you're hoping they respond to you because they're teaching like 80 other students, 120 other students besides, your class. And obviously like everyone kind of has questions, so
Mhm.
your professor's inbox is flooded. So that
Yeah.
getting the help from your professor is definitely tough during the pandemic. And even this past semester when I was in the class, I definitely had some professors who were more of the like figure it out yourself kind of approach. But like in like a coding class, that is just so hard. Like
Yeah.
it could be like a little period that you're missing that you're looking for an hour, or it could be something like just completely different. So I guess communicating with professors was definitely pretty tough during the whole pandemic, and then getting back into the classroom. I guess everyone, the teachers included, everyone's trying to get back in the groove of things. So it was definitely pretty difficult.
Are there a lot of students in cybersecurity? What's the student population looking like?
I mean, for like so for like my coding class, for example, it's not necessarily like all cybersecurity students, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but I mean, it definitely seems like a lot more people are starting to get into it. Like when I first started, some of my classes had like 10, 15 students in it. Now it's more around like 20, 25. but then since the coding class could be for almost like for a majority of computer science majors, so those classes have always been pretty full.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, what could be helpful for students? What advice would you give to students during this learning experience? You mentioned internships, so
Yeah, I would also definitely this would be internships would probably be an equal one to this. I would say try your best to learn how to teach yourself like on your own, how to understand things on your own, because especially during the pandemic when like I would have classes where you don't even meet with the professor, you're just kind of you see the work they assign, you have your textbook that they told you to buy, and then you got to just figure it out.
yeah,
So, yeah, and even when that correlates to when like you have a job, because you can't always just be asking your boss or whoever like, "Oh, how do I do this? How do I do that?" You kind of and even with life beyond that, like it definitely helps to
hmm,
be able to figure things out and teach yourself, learn there's so many things you could go YouTube, Google, just it's yeah.
yeah. And that's really what the older folks had to do, is to teach themselves or
Mhm.
attend a class somewhere online or whatever it would be. It's kind of self-teach. uh,
Absolutely.
Whatever there was about cybersecurity, it wasn't taught in college when I was young.
Some schools
Um,
actually, some like I went to Hartford, University of Hartford at first, and they didn't even have a cybersecurity program or anything like that there.
right,
Yeah, so that's why I transferred to St. John's. That's one of the reasons why. So,
got it. And the concept of collaboration is kind of an important one when you're trying to solve problems, right? And we're trying to solve world's problems when it comes to cybersecurity. Is that part of the curriculum? Are you taught those important lessons?
um, hmm. I mean, there's obviously some professors are better than others, and some try to incorporate some things like that. But then there could be a class where it's just none at all, and they're kind of just going by script and by the
Yeah,
textbook and what they're supposed to do. So it's definitely like maybe like 60-40,
yeah,
somewhere around there, maybe.
yeah. Which, you know, again strengthens the point that internships going into the
Exactly.
real world
Yeah,
may
exactly.
may add a little more dimension to that learning experience.
Yeah, and just internships, they teach you so much more about getting ready to be in the workplace, like for real, than just it's besides like learning the stuff about your job. It's like
Yeah.
interacting with your coworkers, working, and working in a group, collaborating with people, being able to like accept the fact like, all right, this person has a higher role than me in this group project, and I'm gonna do like what I can to help. Maybe in the next one I'll be in charge of this. Just accept your role. It just teaches you it's
Oh yeah.
definitely needed.
Yes. 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 Those human interactions, the dynamics of teamwork and
Exactly.
understanding indeed how certain roles work. It's always interesting, every work environment is a little bit different. Every company is a little bit different. Culture
Hmm.
may be important, and in some places it's just not. And it's all about just grinding away and working as much as possible. So you get to see the values that a company may have, and see if they actually meet your personal values, because it's kind of an important thing to do, is to assess how
Yeah,
they fit, right, before you say yes, let's do it.
absolutely.
Yeah. So what's your take on paid versus unpaid internships?
I mean, I definitely think all internships should be paid somewhat, even if it's, I guess, the bare minimum, because I understand you're working and what you get in return is kind of
Mhm.
experience and you're learning, but you're still, giving up your time and
Yeah.
effort and work. And then obviously there's also other people out there who may need to actually work a job. So if to support themselves or whatever position they're in. So
Mhm.
it kind of would put those people at an unfair disadvantage, I'd say, because then I guess
Yep.
they'd have to make a sacrifice or a decision whether, all right, can I work an unpaid internship, or do I need to, stick with the job I have now doing whatever so I could, go to put myself through college and things like that. So that's why I definitely think an internship should be paid.
Yeah. Would you recommend applying to an unpaid internship as a as
I
a
mean, yeah, if you're in the position where you can have an internship and you don't need to be paid, then yeah, 100%. I mean, you're
Mhm.
gaining the experience and knowledge. You really have nothing to lose.
Yeah, there is value in it, but
Yeah,
I agree. You have to, at least not fall for the trap that, you and your time, your perspective is not worthy of being paid for. So I'm in a complete agreement. But I also think that sometimes, whatever opportunity it may be, it's better to take it than not to take it, because it could be your stepping stone to the next
to
thing.
the next. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so, how did you prepare for your very first cybersecurity internship interview?
Well, the first thing I definitely did was I went to the company's website, and I read their mission statement and kind of just educate yourself on the things they do, the technology they use, what they offer, and things like that. I would definitely, write that stuff down. So while you're getting interviewed, you're prepared, because when you're nervous, sometimes things could slip your mind. So definitely better to be safe than sorry and be prepared. I would have some questions ready to ask at the end. I mean, yeah, do your research on the company, read their mission statement. I mean, if I guess some companies they'll have like like some information about the team and stuff, and see if you could maybe find some information about the person that's going to be interviewing you if you do know
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I would definitely say to be prepared, go through their website, jot some things down that you think could be brought up, read their mission statement and things like that. You could just Google top questions to ask someone interviewing you, and you could definitely find some good ones there. And then over time, you find it after going through a couple interviews, you'll kind of have an idea of what questions are good to ask, what things should I always have, should I always have to be prepared for an interview and things like that. So over time, you'll gain some experience by repeatedly being in interviews.
Yeah. And you actually showed me a page of your notebook with all your questions that
I
you had
have
to do.
Yeah, this is it right here.
There you go, people.
It's just things all over the place, but it makes sense in my head, so it's okay.
I think that's awesome. Um, so you've gone through a few of these interviews. Any other tips for the next kid in line?
I mean, obviously, again, you're going to be nervous, but don't try to act. You don't really have to show it. The person on the other side of the screen or on the other side of the table, they definitely have been in your shoes before and completely understand why you're nervous. But I mean, I would try not to sit there and be like freaking out and shaking and stuff, because say if you have what if you're in going for a sales position and you have to sit down and talk with people, you don't want to be sitting there jittery and kind of freaking out. Being able to stay cool and calm and collected, definitely showing them that could be another thing that could help you out.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And so for the Triangle Net internship, your first assignment was to help me develop a presentation for the InfoSecon conference, which is sponsored by the Rally ISSA. Putting a shameful plug in here for them. But the InfoSecon Rally Cybersecurity Conference is an annual conference. This year it's September 9th, all day on a Friday, and there's a happy hour to follow. So it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
So you and I were going, and you're helping me develop this presentation called Integrated Risk Management for Dummies. Is this your first conference?
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. All right, well, it's a good start. This is a good first to have, because it's a great community. Everybody supports one another, and everybody's so willing to give their time, their attention, their support to help people like you grow into this field and learn whatever there is that you want to learn. So, what have you learned so far going through that little presentation effort thus
I
far?
guess I said this to you the other day. The one main thing I definitely learned is the connection between like the business itself and cybersecurity and how I guess they work hand in hand. That was definitely one of the bigger hold on. Yeah, I want to go back to it for
No cheating. You're cheating.
but no, beside because I never really thought of it like that. I kind of
Yeah.
always thought of it as like a business would reach out to, I guess, a cybersecurity company to use their technology, I
Yeah.
guess, which is how a lot of, it's still done that way. But but then the cybersecurity company also has to, they have their business part of it as well. And I was never really taught about it like that in school. It was kind of always like, I guess, the geeky technology and the stuff
Right.
like that. And yeah, I was never really taught the other side of it. And I definitely learned some other things also, like some other reasons for a breach. Like when I was filling out some slides, I guess some of like the terminology I never really heard it before. So if I'm writing it down, I'd like to know what it means at least. So I would go kind
Yeah.
of look things up myself and figure it out. Like, hold on, I have it written right here. Is it an M&YA acquisition, supplier risk, cloud misfiguration, some things like that. I never really was too familiar with that. So
Yeah.
just that's another thing to go back. You kind of teach yourself as you're going through things. Like as I was doing this, writing things down. If you don't know what it means, it's definitely for your best interest to go, figure it out since you're
Yeah.
doing this work.
Yeah. And, risk management is a field of it, within cybersecurity. Cybersecurity can be compared to like biology, and risk management is marine biology or something along those lines. So it's, you have so many different domains within the
hmm
cybersecurity
That is also
ecosystem.
that I should have said that. Once I got my first internship, I realized how many, I guess, portals or different places you can go in the cyber world.
Yeah.
And even when I first got connected with you, I'm pretty sure that on that email you sent me, the first thing that you told me to do was kind of figure out what exactly you would like to do because there
Yeah.
is so many things you can do.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many paths
Yeah.
that you can take. And your path is to go to join the cyber sane customer success team.
hmm I mean, I will say I'm a little nervous because I guess I'm going to be on Monday. I start, so I'm going to be introduced to so many new people, and I guess I'm more excited than nervous. But I'm excited to see. Excuse me. I'm excited to kind of see the vibe there and see how everything is. But based off the interviews, everyone seemed really nice and welcoming, and it was kind of more of like a homey kind
Yeah,
of feeling. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting started.
yeah. We're small but mighty. There's a lot to learn, and I've learned so much myself joining them on the subject of integrated risk management. And what I feel is important of a message to share with the listeners of this podcast is that if you want to break into cybersecurity and you're scratching your head as to what could be your thing, your path, or how can you compete with the talent pool or the other people trying to get a job, right? Um, is just to get an edge, to see, okay, what's the next best thing? What is cutting edge technology or practice? And integrated risk management is kind of that, in my
And it's always
opinion.
changing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So I guess keeping up to date also.
Yes. And that is such an important part of the job in cybersecurity. You have to be a perpetual learner. If you don't like to learn, then yeah, this is not it for you, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's switch gears. You just talked a little bit about when we met the first time. It's been a while, like a year and a half or
Yeah.
so ago, something along those lines. But do you remember that first conversation that you and I had? More or less.
I sort of. I mean, I guess it was more you were trying to see where my head was at a little, kind of
Mhm.
see what I knew, what I didn't know, where I wanted to be, what I wanted to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You were, you were kind of a blank slate in the sense that you were in need of guidance on what to do and how to get you into an internship. That was kind of also the hope of our conversations. But cybersecurity was a field you wanted to be in, but you knew the coding piece, that wasn't necessarily the thing that you wanted to do. I remember that part of
Yeah.
our conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I listen, I don't like just sitting there and trying to like nitpick at my like little mistake or trying to figure out my little for like 2 hours for my homework. I just could not stand it. I
Yeah,
really could not. But
yeah,
again, no matter what area you decide to go in, it's definitely good to know a little bit about each
yeah,
area.
yeah. But I think customer success, which is part of sales too, let's face it, but it's also a support role with existing customers. It's kind of a nice blend, right? So you get to play a little bit on the technical side, but you also get to work on the soft skills, the salesy skills, and keep it at a high level too. So it's a nice way to get into cybersecurity is through that door. There's always good demand for good, well-spoken salespeople, or like you.
Absolutely. I mean, I would assume that that's how kind of a few years ago when cybersecurity wasn't as big of a thing. I assume that's how a lot of people kind of got into it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, during that first conversation, I also talk about purpose. I talk about your why. Um, because I wanted to challenge you to really see cybersecurity as a way for you to make an impact, right? And I don't know if you remember, but you were surprised to hear that I was telling you to already look for the next kid in line to see how you can make an impact on them. That you're like, well, I'm just a kid, I'm a student. How could I possibly make an impact on anybody? And that was a very big surprise to you. But I think I kind of planted a seed there because between now and then, you've already started helping others, right?
Hey, yeah, 100%. I mean, but that's thanks to you.
Yeah, planting seeds. But what are you doing, for instance?
Well, I mean, there's my brother who's younger than me trying to figure out his place in this field. Like his first semester at school in this past September, he calls me. He's like, I can't do this crap. Like, bro, how the hell do you do this for 4 years? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, my coding, I can't deal with this. Well, I'm like, listen. He's like, my professor's terrible. I'm like, bro, I've been doing this for 4 years. Every coding professor is just, at least to my experience, is just like blah. Just it's this is it. This is how you do it, and yeah, learn it. And you got to just suck it up. So, but I mean, like I'll tell him, you can't just, dude. You've been in college for like 2 weeks. You can't give up. You got to like find the motivation inside of you, what makes you want to keep going. And I would definitely say me seeing what like now he obviously stuck with it and he's going into his second year. But I guess when I realized that like I kind of have that influence and seeing that I could kind of help him and other people. Like I have my neighbor, Mede's son, who I'm definitely looking forward to helping too in a few years.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'll give a little sneak peek. One of my mom's friends, her daughter, we might have her on the podcast. She is kind of in this position I was last year. Like I'm lost. Like I don't really know like what to do. I want an internship, and she is so smart, and she's been to a few conventions and things like that. So I sent her that email you sent me last year. Like make a LinkedIn, put yourself out there, narrow down what you would specifically like to do within the field and things like that. But what I tell everyone my age now or younger who's kind of looking for some guidance is put yourself out there. Make a LinkedIn. And even if you don't know them, connect with people in the field you want to be in, because you could open your LinkedIn and that person, you have no idea who they are, post, oh, my company's looking for an intern, and that you never know. You never know.
Yeah. So well said. I love that. And you had a great idea actually, because we were talking about doing some outreach as part of the Triangle Net efforts that you and I would work on together. You had a great idea about engaging your school counselor, right?
Yeah, I'm I guess you would have to help me figure out, I guess, how to word it all and everything like that. And I'm on I have a feeling that when we reach out to my guidance counselor, she's gonna, I guess, direct me to the right person to reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely like to do that. I see some emails sometimes saying there's like an internship fair every once in a while and stuff like that. So like I I think that would be awesome if we could maybe get a little thing going on at my school,
Yeah.
because I feel like when I read, you could it gives you like an option of, I guess, like the stands that are going to be there, whatever. It seems it's like more all business kind of things. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to get some cybersecurity stuff in there.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that there are many associations, networking groups already, right? You have ISSA, ISACA, and so forth, who do all kinds of stuff in local communities. So maybe we can help connect the dots and connect people with opportunities. So
Absolutely.
let's see what we can do.
Absolutely.
So you are helping me develop this podcast and add a completely new perspective on it. So I am excited. How about you?
I'm definitely excited. This is a first for me. I would say for my age, I've like had a definitely a nice variety of jobs and things like that. But being on a podcast and being a co-host, this is definitely a first for me. So I'm definitely excited.
Awesome. Now, our question: why did you say yes?
Because why wouldn't I want to help? Like I was in someone's shoes like a year or two ago, and I know the feeling, and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And it kind of just that itself kind of just like takes the motivation away from you at times, because you're like, what direction do I go in? Like who do I reach out to? I don't know. I don't have anyone to reach out to. So I definitely understand what it's like to be in that position. And at least I would worry about, like, I'm not gonna have any experience. How the hell am I gonna get a job when I graduate school? So knowing what that feeling is and worrying about that and being nervous, I definitely would like to help someone not be in that position and help someone find their place.
That's awesome. And that's exactly what the purpose is of this podcast, right? Is to help people find their place. So I am super thrilled to have a partner in crime, take things to a whole new level and, connect people with opportunities in cybersecurity. So I am so grateful that, we cross paths. I'm not just helping you, you're helping me, we're helping other people. So let's make some waves. Now, before we go and wrap things up, I said that I would let you and future guests turn the table and ask one question to the host.
Can I ask two? They're kind of like the same thing.
It depends if I
Okay.
like them. Let's start with one.
Okay. What? Okay.
No,
What made you?
I'm messing you with you. I'm just messing
What
with you.
made? What? There had. I'm gonna think that there had to be like a moment that made you want to start doing all this, as in helping people like me. What
Mhm.
what was that moment? Like what kind of made you realize like this is like kind of why I'm here. I want to be able to put people in the position where they feel comfortable being in like the cybersecurity world and you know don't be scared. What kind of made you want to do this?
I should have asked you to give me the question in advance.
I told you I had a good question for you.
Darn. So there, I don't know if I had an aha moment per se. I think it was an evolution of different things that drew me to this on this path. Like I just took one step after the other, and it started to build a picture in my head. And I'm still figuring things out. Right, this is not a boxed thing. It's not all planned out yet, but um, it was kind of serendipity, and that's just life. Very often, so is things come to you and you are not expecting it, and it opened the door, and and what do you do when opportunity knocks on your door? And so the opportunity that came knocking on my door first was uh, becoming PTA president at my son's middle school while I was working full time and going through an MBA program at night. And it would have been easy to say no, but I didn't because I thought it would be a great learning opportunity, but also because I did want to do a little bit more of community work because up until then, volunteering was not something that I was doing yet. So that kind of opened the door to volunteering and really understanding the educational system as it works and the struggles our teachers have every single day, and how lost kids can get in these big schools, and how hard sometimes it is for them if they don't fit a particular way of learning. So that was one thing. Um, and then I volunteered to go on a career day um, thing at the middle school too, where I talked about how I got into cybersecurity and just, just explaining the concept of cybersecurity because honestly, they were all deer in headlights in middle school, not knowing the concepts. Um, so
I
we were,
can imagine.
yeah, but I planted some seeds there. But it opened up my eyes to the fact that they were clueless that there was a field on around cybersecurity, that there was a huge demand in people in talent of all kinds in this field. And so I did the same thing in a high school and I had the same glazed looks, and it really made me think, okay, something's got to give. Obviously, the educational system is not in tune with the demand of the workplace. And we need to be educating our children way before they are age 18 that cybersecurity is a great place to be working. You can be successful in so many ways. And let's be clear, we're in war. There are consequences for not filling these jobs and not addressing the need for this type of talent. It's not just that you're putting hands on keyboards, right? You're really solving problems and trying to
Problems.
stop important things from being hacked, whether it's your healthcare system, an MRI that you need to diagnose you, or just the ability to pay for your sandwich at
Ticket.
Subway, simple things, or just making sure that the traffic lights are functioning as they should, or
That's
your
something people don't realize. That's
yeah.
like, even
No.
at my other internship, my boss was saying he got like offered a job from the city of Charleston because like something like that because they were just, whenever you would go to, you have to get a ticket. Like when you park your car, right? You got to get the ticket and put it in the window. The machines were getting hacked. So all of like their debit cards and credit cards, all their information were, everything was getting stolen. And like, I guess
Oh,
a lot of people don't realize, I guess, how easy it could be. And like you're innocently paying for your ticket so you don't get a parking ticket. And then
yeah.
next thing you know, someone has your bank account information.
Yeah. And and to make things worse, the educational system is also not teaching these kids how to use technology securely. They're not teaching about strong passwords, password managers, two-factor authentication, the fundamentals. And then they apply for jobs, and the first person that gets targeted by a hacker is the intern, is the new employee of the day. As soon as they post stuff on LinkedIn, they're being targeted.
I
So
can't tell you how many emails my work email would get on my first internship. Just like the
yeah.
most random. I'm like, I would say to him, my boss, I would be like, yeah, did you send me this? Or, what is this email? And he'd be like, did you click on that? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no.
Good,
Yeah.
good. But yeah, just brace yourself, because you're going to get a lot of it. And it may sound very appealing, it may sound very real, but you have to just be super cautious, super, super cautious. But yeah, so those were some of the main drivers, right? That feeling that I had to do something. Like, I can't just be part of the problem, exacerbating the problem. So I'm like, okay, we got to hack the system. The system doesn't work. We got to hack it. And ta-da, the triangle net came a thing. First the website, then a podcast, now another podcast, doing some community outreach, presentations at InfoSeaCon, little things, whatever I can do, try to mentor people, but at least try, right? Do something, take an initiative wherever. I give books to people. I do what I can within my power and my imagination. And I'm hoping that you're going to kind of get me out of my comfort zone, and let's take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say, like, to you, it could be such a little thing, but for the person you're helping, it could be like the biggest thing. It could be the biggest thing in the world. So that's definitely something that's very important.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, that was a long answer to
No, that was awesome. That was kind of the answer I was looking for.
Great. Well, thank you. Was there another one? I'm scared now.
Oh, I kind of that's why when I was saying it, I was kind of like trying to figure out how to word it because I meshed them together.
Clever, clever. Well, any parting words? I personally, just want to thank you. I'm grateful for how willing you are just to stretch and learn and give, and you're not questioning, all the stuff that I throw at you. You're just like, okay, yeah, there's something there. Like,
I mean,
going
yeah,
through the
absolutely.
motions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way I look at it is you wouldn't, assign me this like piece of work to do or tell me to do this if you didn't think it had a point behind it. So that's how I look at it, at least. So I would never question you. And I also want to say thank you for inviting me to be a co-host and taking me in as an intern. I'm very excited to get started, and I guess let's see where this uh season 2 of the podcast takes us.
Amen. Thank you so much, Antonio. Hey, let's put some music on. Let's see if that works. Hold on.
I like it.
Thank you so much. We'll see who the next guest will be very soon.